What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and Conte is just losing his mind this season. I mean, we've had several games where just his decision making, his starting lineup, the subs he makes just makes no sense whatsoever. So first of all, we go with the front three again of Pedro, Willian, Hazard. So Pedro and Willian have now started 4 games in a row in 2 weeks. No, less than 2 weeks. And the last 2 games, it showed they don't have the quality. Against Southampton, they didn't have the quality to get the job done. Against Bournemouth, they were able to get 1 goal, but then completely fell apart second half. This game, nothing. Pedro, not good enough. He should have been ripped off at halftime for how much he gave the ball away in the first half. Willian has moments, but overall, the quality of his finishing is just, or not finishing, but finishing pass, finishing shot, all of it, it's just not good enough. Gives the ball away a couple times, and now all of a sudden, we're looking deadly on the other side. So, yeah, neither of them, I thought it should have been Batshuayi with Hazard and then Fabregas in the midfield. It's been a formation that's worked for us in the past. I get that you want to try that only with Murata, but I don't understand why. Why not do it here? Why not give Batshuayi a chance with Hazard, just the two of them up top, with Fabregas in the midfield? But no, he waited until the 60th minute to finally take Pedro off for Fabregas, and then waited until I think like the 70th minute to bring on Batman for Willian. And then, final sub, well, you got a few options. You might be able to bring on Drinkwater, maybe take off Bakayoko since he's been kind of giving the ball away. Drinkwater, a little bit more passing from him. Maybe Hudson-Odoi. Yes, he's young. Yes, he hasn't gotten to play in the Premier League yet, but you know what? Full of energy. From what I've seen from him at the youth level, pretty good winger. So maybe bring him on for Alonso, provide a little bit more of a good deliverance out there possibly. No, the same sub he always does that makes no sense. Moses off, so there goes your energy, and then Zappacosta on. Why? What does Zappacosta bring that Moses doesn't? I'll tell you what he brings: a lack of speed. That's what he brings. Cuco Martina has already been doing pretty well against Moses, but Moses has a bit more quickness, and so he was able to deceive him a couple times. But overall, it was a good battle. You bring Zappacosta on, now Cuco Martina looks like the best left back in the world because he's got so much more speed and quickness than Zappacosta. And on top of that, to make it even worse, Zappacosta comes on and plays terribly, which makes Conte's decision look even stupider. He can't cross the ball. He's bringing less than Moses was whenever he was on the field. So that decision just looks like you just yanked off one of our creative players on the wing and just put on somebody who is not as good, not as fast. And now we're less deadly. Anytime the ball goes out there, less deadly. Crosses it into the defender, gives the ball away, dribbles into pressure. At one point, plenty of time and space. What does he do? Kicks it out of bounds for a goal kick. And what do? They go down and have their best chance of the second half in the last minutes of the game because your right wing back that you brought on decided he was going to clear it for them when he had no pressure on him whatsoever. So yeah, I think Conte's decisions in this one were pretty poor. All around they weren't, but the front three I thought was poor, and then his final sub, and even when he brought the subs on, I thought were pretty poor. So yeah, I'm overall disappointed in Conte in this game. Also pretty disappointed in our attacking people. Individually, it's kind of difficult because I'm pissed off, so I'm probably looking at some of these players a little bit more critically than I would be if we had won. The back three and Courtois, in my opinion, good game from them overall. As far as, like, if I had any critiques for them, I'd say from Spilicueta, I guess just a little bit more calmness and composure in the dying minutes of the game because it felt like anytime he got on the ball, his passes and his crosses were just a little too rushed. For Christensen, got to work on heading because he finds time and space in the box, especially on corners, but it feels like he never can direct his header towards goal. It's always going wide. And then for Rudiger, just kind of similar to Spilicueta, a little bit more composure on the ball instead of just dumping a ball in, trying to find a simpler pass and set up something because the crosses weren't working for us this game. But, I mean, defensively, they all looked really, really good. I got no complaints with them there. It was just, as far as the attacking side, because we didn't score, that's where I get frustrated with certain players. So I'm not frustrated with them overall. I just the dying moments of the game, I'm frustrated because we're gonna draw. I know we're gonna draw because we just have nothing going forward, and so anything that they do in those moments are the ones I sort of critique a little bit more. But anyway, moving on from that, looking at our wingbacks, Moses, a lot of energy. Provided good width. His crossing today was hit and miss. He had a couple good ones. One that Williams turned against the crossbar, but then a couple that were just like right into the defender. And then on top of that, at times he gets caught dribbling a little too much, and he's not the only one. But in the moments where we've got a lot of possession, we've got a lot of pressure on them, and then you dribble, it slows us down. And then when you give it away, now they've got momentum, because you just give it away in a dangerous position because now you're beat, and they're past you and they're just running at us. Whereas if you give the ball away on a pass, well, you've passed it over there. Well, you're still here. You can still cut out the next pass. But you dribble into pressure. Now he's poked it away and he's behind you and you're done. So a little bit frustrating from him at times, but I think overall his energy today was really good. For Alonso, though, this is a game that I would point to if people are like, what do we need in January? This is a game I would point to and say, look at Alonso. We need a left wing back. Just not good enough from him overall. His passing wasn't good enough overall. His crossing wasn't good enough. Defensively, he got caught out a few times. There was one moment he gave the ball away and then just started jogging slowly back as 3 Everton players were converging on our goal. And I'm like, what are you doing? You just gave the ball away. You just tried to clear it, kicked it right into an Everton player, and then tried to clear it again, and then chipped it up to another Everton player who got past you, and then you jogged back at our goal. No. Just no. So yeah, overall not good enough from Alonso. He was not our worst player today, but he was definitely second worst. In the midfield, Bakayoko and Conte. Conte played well. I thought, just created as much as he could. He doesn't have that same attacking style that I think Fabregas brings. Just, you can tell whenever he's on the ball, like he's a little bit, I'm not going to say sporadic. It's hard to describe what exactly it is, but you can just tell whenever you watch him play that his attacking side isn't quite the best. He does have some really good passes every now and then, but whenever he starts getting going and the adrenaline's flowing and he just, whacking the ball, you can tell it's not really composed. It's kind of a slicing at it, slapping at it, and it just sometimes doesn't come off, and then sometimes it does and looks great. So, but, attacking wise isn't what I expect him out there for. Defensively, he did well, though. Kept them from getting counterattacks on us, kept them from really having too much possession of the ball, and just made sure that they didn't have many chances today at all. So, Bakayoko, hit and miss from him today. Just some moments where he looked really good, held it up under pressure, good strength, poked it away from somebody defensively, and then had some moments where terrible pass gives it away, just puts in a dumb challenge and then gets beat because he's just gone in full force without even trying to judge it. So I don't know, just he has his moments and then he has some moments that I'm just like, why? Why do you do this? Why do you keep making these mistakes? So it's really been back and forth with me for Bakayoko. At times I still defend him because he is younger and I think he's still sort of growing into this position. But then there are times where I look at it and but that should be something that any player should be able to do. You should be able to make a pass. It's just that simple. Then you get up into the front three. Willian, like I said, had some moments and then had some not so good moments. Pedro, for me today, though, worst player. Just didn't provide anything for us. Gave the ball away way too many times. It just felt like it was way too much of me groaning whenever Pedro got on the ball. And that shouldn't be how it is. It should be Pedro's on the ball, it should be something's being created. Or, he's playing the ball off and now we've got the ball moving. But no, it just feels like he dribbles into pressure or his pass gives it away or somebody passes it to him and he's not aware of it or he's offsides for the 5th time. Just all these little things and they keep building and building and building and building and building and my rage just keeps building towards him too. Every single time he does something like that. So, I'm probably a little bit overly critical of him like I am of Alonso and Cahill because of just all these little things, but I think you shouldn't have all these little things. If you're going to make mistakes, it should be a few mistakes every game, not 10 little mistakes that don't really go noticed unless you're trying to review and you're trying to critique players. But yeah, I've been disappointed with him so far this season. He has been the same player that I've seen, but without the production rate. In the past, whenever he's made these mistakes and given the ball away, at least he scored some wonder goal, or at least he set up some great goal. He hasn't been doing that this season. He hasn't been producing nearly as much, and so my frustration has been even higher with him because of that. And as far as Hazard is concerned, he did just about as much as he could today to try to get us into this game, created some good chances, good shots, but unfortunately, Willian and Pedro just were not alive to a lot of what he was doing. Whether it's a shot that they should be rebounding, whether it's a flick on that they're not aware of, whether they try to flick it back to him after he's tried to play a 1-2 and it's not good enough. He just didn't have the help up there that he needed today, and it really showed. So, yeah, frustrating for him, but I appreciate the effort that he put in because you could really tell he gave it his all today. Then finally talk about the subs. Fabregas came on, and that's when we really started to just. It was pretty much done as far as Everton were concerned. They at that point they really weren't in the game. Yes, they had that late chance, but it was one free kick and one corner. That was the extent of their second half after Fabregas came in. Because as soon as he comes in, we just have so much more possession of the ball. The problem is we didn't really have anybody up top that he could find to make it work. Yes, he and Hazard tried to combine a bit, but there were so many bodies in the box at that point. And that's why I'm thinking he should have started. Because at the beginning of the game, Everton were a lot more defensive, but they didn't have so many defenders in there. They had their back four were in there, and then they had a couple midfielders. But once Williams came on at halftime, it was pretty much a back five was in there, and then the midfielders. So at that point, when Fabregas comes on, it's a lot harder for him to play the quick 1-2 like he can because there's just so many more bodies clogging the midfield and clogging the box. So I still think he should have started, and it shows he has those moments where he plays a quick 1-2 with somebody, and then it's setting up a chance, but then it gets blocked by the 10th defender in there. And then Batshuayi comes on, had a couple good moments where it looked like he might be creating something, but his finishing product today kind of shows that he's still not quite there. And yes, he could still be recovering from the injury, but I just think he needs more time. He needs more time on the field. We don't see him enough. And I realize Murata's been a better striker this year. I get that. But Batshuayi hasn't featured enough for me to be like, yes, he's good enough or yes, he's not good enough. So, I don't know. Today, he showed the moments where he has the quality, whether it's holding up under a strong challenge or whether it was playing a good pass. But then he also had a couple moments where, under pressure, he's not able to make the pass or he wasn't able to get a shot away. So, and then the last up, Zappacosta, and like I said, just not good enough from him. Too many mistakes. Came on for Moses, which you should be bringing something more than Moses is, and he wasn't. So, yeah, overall, disappointing, frustrating, but, what can you do? I'm just some guy talking about it on YouTube, so I'm not able to do anything. It's up to the coaches. The coaches have to look at a game like this and say, all right, what mistakes did we make? Who should we have brought on? Who should we have taken off? You got to look at all of this, and you got to say it's not good enough. And it hasn't been good enough for most of this season. We have not looked like one of the best teams in the league. We've looked like one of the better teams in the league, fighting for top four easily. Team alongside Liverpool and Arsenal and Tottenham. But as far as comparing to the Man City, and how good they've looked in some of the games, we've had 2 games where we've looked that good. And it was against teams that were falling apart whenever we faced them. So until we can play against a team like Everton and show that we've got enough quality to not only dominate but also finish the game and finish our chances, we're just going to be another Liverpool. Oh, yeah, you look good, really good on the attack, but got to finish your chances. Oh, Arsenal, you played really good today, but got to finish your chances. Oh, Tottenham, good game today, but got to finish those chances. That's us now. We look good, we play really well, we dominate games, but then we don't finish our chances, and now we're alongside those other teams. Man U's probably going to win today against Leicester and go further away from us. Man City, I mean, I don't see them being stopped until they face. I don't even remember who it was. They don't face somebody good until the new year, so they're going to win their next several games. We should be winning too. We should be keeping pace with them. I'm not saying we're going to win the league, even if we do win out. Man City will probably still have enough on us to be able to win the league. But my God, let's at least make it close. Let's at least make it interesting. Let's at least make a good account of ourselves instead of drawing against Everton. You know, it's not good enough. And we're halfway through the season now, sitting third, so far away from first place. Yes, we're into the next round of the Champions League. Yes, we're into the the semifinals of the Carabao Cup. Great. But how are we doing in the league? Not good. And it's not been good enough. So January's right around the corner. It's time to make some buys. It's time to get rid of a couple players. It's time to get another left wing back because Alonso's not been good enough. It's time to look at possibly getting another attacking mid. I just recently saw an article saying we were looking at getting Barkley and Lamar possibly in January. I'm like, well, we got Hazard, Willian, Pedro, Masonda. After these past couple games, I'm looking at it saying, you know what? We do need somebody. We need somebody else because Pedro's not been good enough. Willian has had some pretty poor moments this season. So, yeah, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? Let me know. We can talk about it and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.